When it comes to improving single-target weapons in the Warframe meta, many people suggest just giving snipers an AoE attack. Yeah, sure, like do you just want to give any old sniper a wide explosion on every single shot, while still one-shotting heavy units? Wait, they did that? It's not even an Incarnate or Nemesis weapon? I guess it's time to learn about the Sporothrix. I'm the Engineer, let's solve a practical problem. It's very possible you've not heard of this weapon before, and I wouldn't blame you. If you don't own it and search your arsenal for it, nothing shows up. The same is true in the market, it's just not there. The only way to obtain this weapon is to either obtain the parts yourself from tier 3 isolation vaults and arcana bounties, or to trade for the parts from other players. The main blueprint rate isn't amazing, dropping 6.25% of the time from any tier 3 isolation vault, or at least once in about 26% of tier 3 arcana bounties. The parts are harder to get. Each one is only available on a given bounty reward rotation, such that every 2.5 hours there's only one of the 3 parts anyone can farm. Worse still, any part has a 3.75% drop rate from tier 3 isolation vaults, or a 16% chance of dropping at least once from tier 3 arcana bounties, 22% if you hit all bonus objectives. If you farm the arcana bounties and land the bonus each time, you've got a 50-50 chance of obtaining the Sporothrix in 12 runs, assuming you never do a run with the wrong part in the drop table. About 1 in 10 people would need more than 22 runs. If you don't reach the bonuses for the extra reward roll, then the average runs needed is 17, with 10% of people needing 32 or more runs. You should absolutely not rely on normal isolation vaults to farm the Sporothrix however, as the average runs required is an eye-watering 72. With 1 in 10 people needing over 140 runs. Again, that's assuming you only run when a part you need is in rotation, which, towards the end of the farm, could be up to a 5-hour wait. Suffice to say, if you look at the price of the parts in trading with players and wonder why it's higher than many primed Warframes, this is why. So what do you get for a weapon with such upfront investment just to obtain? The Sporothrix is a sniper rifle with very manageable fire rate, recoil, and ammo reserves. It also has good base damage, dealing 371 indirect hit with 42% slash. For comparison, the ever-popular Rubico Prime has a base damage of 187, of which only 5% is slash. Sporothrix also has a powerful 3x critical multiplier, tied for best sniper combo scaling, more on that in a moment, and a staggering 53% status chance. As if all that wasn't enough, the shots it fires explode in a small 1.7 meter radius, dealing a mix of slash and viral damage. The AoE is not super powerful, as at best it deals 11% of the direct hit base damage. The gun does have some overall downsides, mind you. It has a long 2.7 second reload time, and it fires projectiles with a fast travel speed, but still noticeable on medium to long ranges. But those downsides pale in comparison to this gun having the most absurd stat possible for a sniper rifle. It has a 1% critical chance. That's right. In 100 shots with this weapon, only a single one will land a critical hit. It's the Kuva Nucore all over again. Great stats right up until you want to use the critical damage it's boasting. The good news is that, just like the Kuva Nucore, we can work with that tiny critical chance and still deliver some incredible results. Being a high status weapon, the Sporothrix excels at dealing with armoured units without having to spend a mod on hunter munitions to make it happen. What's more, as we've got no reason to mod for critical chance, this actually frees up some space to focus on other parts of the weapon instead. As a sniper rifle, it has the sniper benefits that don't show in Arsenal UI. Firstly, all scoped shots get a 50% bonus to headshot damage. This bonus is additive to other headshot bonuses, like on Primary Deadhead. Alone, it increases the headshot multiplier on most Grineer from 3 times to 4.5 times damage. Secondly, scoped shots benefit from sniper combo. Snipers have an invisible combo scale, some as high as 5, some as low as 1, where lower is better. For the Sporothrix, it has that optimal value of 1. This means that the very first shot that hits while scoped gets a 1.5 times damage bonus. This bonus increases by 0.5 times on your 3rd hit, again on your 9th hit, again on your 27th hit, and so on exponentially. Within moments of shooting a group of enemies, you'll be on a 2.5 times damage multiplier, and in longer missions, a 4 times damage multiplier is very easy to achieve. Sniper combo does decay, but at a very slow rate of 1 per 2 seconds without hitting, and 1 per trigger pull that doesn't hit an enemy. Multi-shot and punch-through both increase the number of hits you land, and therefore the amount of sniper combo you build with the Sporothrix, though any damage over time effects and AoE damage does not contribute to the counter. This means we've got a double whammy of damage multipliers being added to our damage that's not immediately apparent on the weapon. On top of all this, the Sporothrix brings one final unique feature thanks to the current Nightwave rewards. At rank 25 of Nora's Mix Volume 5, you obtain the mod Volatile Variant. This mod has 4 effects on the Sporothrix. It grants +3 punch through, which occasionally means you hit 2 or more times directly. The mod also makes the shots explode immediately, rather than with the short delay on them. But most notable of all, the shots which hit enemies directly cause the AoE to increase in size from 1.7 meters to 5.7 meters, and grants a 50% status chance bonus. This is a massive increase in the effective area and application of the explosions. It converts Sporothrix from a single target weapon with occasional AoE benefits to a combination heavy unit sniper with collateral effect on nearby weaker units. The AoE still has only 11% of the damage of the direct hit, still gets no benefits from headshot multipliers, still has the sharp fall off at max range, and still has to come from a direct hit for the mod bonuses to take effect. However, with enough damage bonuses is actually enough to have a real effect. Here's how you mod the weapon to make that happen. Volatile Variant is the first mod onto this weapon, just as a matter of course, and naturally you'll want Galvanized Chamber for the multi-shot benefits. While you're at it, put on Primary Deadhead. For the elemental approach, it depends entirely on who you're facing. If you are going against mostly armoured enemies, I would recommend using Fanged Fusillade for plus 120% slash. This is not a mod I recommend lightly, as it only improves the slash part of the weapon's damage and has no impact on the damage of slash procs caused by Sporothrix. However, as we'd be relying on slash procs to kill, having a higher slash weighting is very helpful to us. By using this mod, we can then also equip a pair of 60/60 mods for viral and status, substantially increasing the chance of landing status effects with a very high chance of it being slash. For well shielded enemies, you'll instead want to use Toxin. Throw out the slash mod and cold mod, and go instead for Infected Clip and Malignant Force as your damage type mods. We'll fill the spare slot opened up later. For enemies which are neither heavily armoured nor heavily shielded, a heat approach works wonders. This could be used against both the Infested and the Murmur very handily. Swap Infected Clip and Malignant Force out for Hellfire and Thermite rounds. For all 3 setups, a Bane mod is crucial, as it acts not just as a general multiplier to damage, it also has a squared effect on status damage, which this gun is made for. A Primed Bane mod is a 2.4 times multiplier to status damage if it's your only faction buff. Then we come to pure damage. The seemingly obvious choice is Galvanized Aptitude. This provides a large 80% status chance bonus at all times, very helpful, and also applies a further damage bonus based on a number of status effects on your target on hit. The Sporothrix, pouring out status as it does, and coming with a built-in depolarity, is a brilliant weapon for this mod. There are some small issues holding it back. Most crucially is that a big part of the reason we care about the Sporothrix at all right now is the Volatile Variant mod, making the AoE effect actually useful. Galvanized Aptitude offers no damage bonus to that AoE. Also, despite the Sporothrix being a projectile weapon, and conventional wisdom suggesting projectile weapons should get a multiplicative damage bonus from Galvanized Aptitude, the direct hit only gets a modded damage bonus, which is additive to Serration and Primary Deadhead. Sure, you can still get high values with a lot of status on a target, but it's not as high as you may have hoped. Still, it's worth slotting this as a matter of course. You could consider using Serration for a universal and unstacked damage buff, but in my testing, even on Grenier, this isn't an issue. Get your stacks on the little guys, and just don't let them run out. For the next mod slot, we're actually going to pivot into critical hits. Despite the shoddy 1% critical chance, the base 3 times critical damage multiplier on Sporothrix is great. This can be amplified externally by your companion using the Tenacious Bond mod for a further 1.2 times critical damage. On the Sporothrix, we can use either Hammer Shot to reach 6 times critical damage and a further 80% status chance bonus, or we can use Vital Sense to shoot right for 7.8 times critical damage without the status bonus. This all only matters if you combine it with a final critical chance buff. By using, for example, Arcane Avenger, either on a face tank Warframe like Lavos, or in conjunction with the Combat Discipline Aura, we raise the Sporothrix from 1% critical chance to 46%. All of a sudden, that massive critical damage multiplier matters. More than matters, it benefits hugely from headshots we're already aiming for. A little known feature of headshots is that they don't just boost your normal damage, they also double your critical damage multiplier if you landed a critical hit. No amount of status effects in Galvanized modding comes even close to that level of damage enhancement. You can achieve the critical chance buffs with other options too, such as Harrow's Covenant or Adaza Kavat's Cat's Eye. I wouldn't recommend focusing on Citrine's Crystallize ability however, as much as she generates a fixed 300% critical chance for you, taking a 6 times critical damage multiplier to a total 16 times effect. For precision weaponry, her ability is actually a distraction. My personal build recommendation will be to combine Arcane Avenger, Galvanized Aptitude and Hammer Shot to balance a high status and damage output. You can use Vital Sense if you like Hammer Shot. If you are not using a form of final critical chance, you can instead replace Hammer Shot with Serration for the unstacked damage bonus for all factions. On the Slash build, this is all mod slots filled. For the other two, we've got one slot left available to us. Due to the long reload, a reload speed mod is worth considering. You can either use a pure reload speed mod like Fast Hands, or if you have it, the new Radiated Reload mod for both reload speed and some bonus radiation. That radiation won't stack with the elements on any build, giving you an additional status proc for Galvanized Aptitude to work with, and it acts as a mild crowd control effect. Lastly, if you're looking to invest into a Riven for the Sporothrix, aside from the obvious benefits of multi-shot, you can further consider reload speed, damage, slash, critical damage, or status chance. I would avoid elemental modifiers to keep it flexible for different faction setups. The negative can be any of critical chance, impact, puncture, and potentially zoom if you don't find value in the scope. As ever, the best Riven is one that can replace a mod while bringing additional benefits. Sporothrix is no incarnate weapon, not primed nor any other variant type. It is simply a crit optional sniper that now rather helpfully explodes into a shower of the most meta-defining status types in the game. So long as you're tanky enough or precise enough to line up those glorious headshots, it can be a rewarding combination of precision gameplay with area damage. I also have it on good authority that it's very rewarding to subscribe to this channel, or even head over to the Patreon for more behind the scenes information. That's all from me for now though, so as always, scope in, shoot bombs, and fight well, Tenno.